You see, it's the same game, it's just applied in different areas. You know, just take a look at books and movies. The romantic novel industry is a huge industry. You know, and it caters to women. You know, at least that's what I see when I'm at the bookstore and the library. You know, and in these stories, it's usually the damsel in distress getting rescued by the knight in shining armor. Or it plays on a specific weakness and fantasy that a person will have in their relationship. You know, again, some women are weighed down by all types of responsibilities. They have to go to work. Some of them go to school. They have to go home and take care of the household. They have kids. You know, sometimes the relationship that they're in isn't what it used to be. So they have these fantasies of having someone come along and take away these responsibilities that they have and just taking care of their every need. Others are scared to leave the relationship that they in, so they just stick around in a bad relationship and find escape through these books and movies. You know, which is a classic example of not facing your reality. You know, instead of putting themselves in a better position or a more desirable position, they'll just ignore it and find escape through books and movies or other things like cheating on the person that they're with. And you know, this is not all manipulation. These books and movies are written for your entertainment, but they also written with the understanding in mind of people's fantasies and weaknesses. You see, if you can find somebody's weakness or you can find a specific dream or fantasy, it's easy to cut in there and find that crack and profit from their weakness. You can lead them in the direction you want them to go, because many times they don't recognize they're being led. But in order for this to be done successfully, it can't be done at a surface level. It has to be done in a deeper way. You have to be able to find that deep-rooted fantasy and weakness that's there. You know, if you take a pimp and a hoe type relationship, those same dynamics come into play. You know, if you try to play on the superficial aspect of money, it ain't gonna last long, because too many factors come into play that can change the money aspect and flip it on its head. You know, there's usually somebody out there who have more money than you, or there's more diverse ways to bring the money in. So if you plan just on the money issue, it's not going to work as well as it could if you found that deep-rooted fantasy and desire, because somebody may come along and have more money than you, but somebody may not have a deeper understanding of this person's needs and what this person has been through and where this person is trying to go and what makes this person tick. You see, money will attract, but it won't keep. Money will bring people in, but it won't keep people there. There has to be something deeper in order for them to want to continue to be led by you. That's why it's important to understand people on a deeper level. You know, what was their childhood experiences like? How did their parents treat them growing up? What was their first relationship like, their first boyfriend? All of these factors come into play when you're trying to learn more about a person, because the more you know about a person, the more you understand the person, the better are you off at leading that person and understanding where this person wants to go. So it boils down to finding that fantasy and finding that weakness, because the things we go through growing up shapes us to be the person that we are now. So again, understanding where a person has been, understanding where they are now, and understanding where they want to go is instrumental into fully understanding this person. And when you understand a person's needs, you're able to guide them the way that they need to be guided. And this doesn't even have to be done from a manipulative way. You know, if you and the person that you with share the same mission and you have the same goal and you want to accomplish things together, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But it's important that you understand the things about yourself and certain weaknesses about yourself. That way you can face your reality, and that way you understand the angle that people are coming at you with. And when you understand the angle that people are coming at you with, you understand the dynamics of the relationship that you're in a lot better. And you understand how to operate within that relationship. And again, it's all the same game. It's all the same tactics. It's just applied in different fields of life. If you take the government, you know, when somebody's on their wanted list and they're trying to catch a person, they do what is called a psychological evaluation of this person, or a psychological profile of this person, which means they're building all the information that they have surrounding this person, so that way they're better able to understand the person that they're after, and therefore have a better chance at catching them. You see, so they They look into the person's past employment history. They look at their parents and siblings and what it is that they do for a living. You know, they look at past criminal history. They look at the books this person has bought, their Facebook posts, their call records, their call logs. All of this is done so that they can get a better understanding of the person that they're dealing with. That's why the government usually catches the person that they're after. Because when you understand these types of things about a person and understand what makes them tick and what it is that they've been through, and you have a better understanding of where it is that they want to go and what it is that they're doing in the present. And again, that's why the government usually gets the person that they after, because they take the time and don't just look at the surface issue of the crime. They dig deep into this person's past and the people surrounding this person. That way they get a better understanding of the person that they're looking at. And those same tactics are applied in every single field. Because when you understand certain things about a person, many times that they don't understand about themselves, you stay 2 steps ahead of them every single time. You see, it's a mind game. It's usually a battle of wits. And the more you understand about yourself, the more you can protect yourself from people trying to manipulate you and from the plans people have for you that you don't necessarily want them to have for you. You know, that's why this lesson is so important. That's why self-examination, peeping your weaknesses, and not being scared to face your reality is so important. Because if someone comes along and understands these things better than you do about yourself, you open yourself up to being manipulated by them. That's why you have to understand the tactics that people use. It's nothing like understanding yourself, because you can't properly manage others until you can manage yourself. You can't properly understand other people until you know how to understand, or till you understand yourself. And you know, there's a list of industries that make a living off of people's weaknesses and fantasies. And you know, from a business standpoint, you can't even get mad at them, because as a business, you're supposed to leverage yourself as much as you can. You're supposed to find any way you can to get that bottom line satisfied. That's what business is all about. So you can't really get mad at them from a business standpoint, because that's what a business is supposed to do. You're supposed to find that crack in that weakness and get in there and fill that void in order to satisfy your bottom line. You never operate from a position of strength, because you don't understand how your weaknesses are weighing you down. So me talking about their tactics isn't me knocking their tactics. I don't knock it at all. You're supposed to do what you have to do when you got a business to run. But it's important for you to understand the angle that people are coming at you with. And you know, it always amazes me seeing how people run away from their reality like it's a ghost. You know, they're scared to go to those dark places within themselves and face it and fix it. You know, they rather cover it up. And meanwhile, it eats at them like it's a cancer. You know, and this is done sometimes out of fear. You know, some people are scared to face that reality and relive the things that they went through. And other times it's just laziness on the person's part. You know, this person never looks at themselves, because it's easier to blame other people. You know, if you really take a look and listen to people like this, every time something goes wrong in their lives, or every time something goes wrong, period, it's always somebody else's fault. You know, it's always that somebody else is shady, somebody else is funny acting, somebody else is a hater. Because this is all done as a smokescreen. You know, if you can divert attention off of yourself and onto somebody else, you never have to look at yourself and fix the problem inside yourself. Have you ever met that person who's a professional victim? You know, things aren't right in their life unless they just got something to complain about. Again, this is all done as a smokescreen. It's easier to look outside themselves and blame somebody else for their issues rather than look inside themselves and fix it. Some people are just lazy. Some people just love to have something to complain about. You know, and people like this usually stand in their own way. They overcompensate with false confidence, or they make justification for their weaknesses, or they just simply deny their weaknesses altogether and blame it on outside factors. You know, that's like a really, really big girl calling herself thick in order to avoid her body issue and avoid having to actually do something about it. Or the girl with the messed up attitude who can't keep a man, who says things like, well, a man, they just can't handle a strong woman. Or men just can't handle me. This is all done to divert attention off of themselves and onto somebody else. That way they don't have to fix this problem that's holding them back. And you see the same dynamic amongst guys too. Guys with no responsibility or nothing going for themselves, calling themselves bosses. You know, you have to understand a boss has somebody up under them who they manage and who they direct. So you can't just claim that. But you have too many people who are just willing to overcompensate for their weaknesses and not face their reality. They'll just label themselves as something in order to feel better about the situation that they in. You know, not understanding that if they just take a look at themselves and face their reality and peep their weaknesses, they can be what it is that they label themselves as. But again, it goes down to that laziness factor. You know, people aren't willing to look inside themselves and fix the deficiencies within themselves, so they'll just continue to go through life pretending that they are what it is that they want to be. You see, when you don't face your reality, the only thing you have is a fantasy. And some people are comfortable living their lives like that. And if that's you, then more power to you. But if you're looking to improve, then you're going to have to do some self-examination. You have to understand, when you like this, nobody wants to deal with you long term. You know, they're going to deal with you from your weaknesses, and they're going to drag you, and they're just going to suck you dry of what they can get out of you, and then they're going to leave. Because nobody wants to be around a person like this long term. That's why you have to really take a hard look at your life and ask yourself certain questions. You have to ask yourself, what's holding me back? Is there certain things in my past that's stopping me from progressing? That's holding me back that I can't let go of? Is there baggage that I haven't dealt with yet? You have to look at where you've been. You have to look at where you are. You have to look at where you want to be. And you have to ask yourself, what steps do I have to take to get from where I am now to where it is that I really want to go? These are the things that's going to help you in your journey. And these are the things that won't keep you stuck, that'll put you on the fast lane to where you actually want to go. You know, because everybody wants to do something with themselves. Nobody wants to be dragged by their weaknesses. Everybody want to operate from a position of strength. So take these lessons, apply them to your life, understand that self-examination, peeping your weaknesses and facing your reality is very, very, very important to your life. Because when you don't understand these things about yourself, that's the very definition of being lost. You know, if you don't understand why you're headed in the direction you're in, or if you're just standing around and headed in no direction at all, I mean, then simply you're a lost cause until you find yourself. And nobody wants to be lost. Everybody wants to be found. So make sure you take these lessons and use them to improve your life. Self-examination, peeping your weaknesses, facing your reality. Make sure you do that. And make sure you're going to pick up my book also, The Family Heirloom, Lessons on Life, Relationships, and Personal Development. Available now at Amazon.com. It's also available for your Nook or for your Kindle, or you can get it at BarnesandNoble.com for your Nook, or get it for your Apple iPad. And I will see you guys next week. Make sure you catch me every Thursday on the Heirloom Radio Show. And I will talk to you guys later. Peace.